Speaking of putting something on the resume, our next guest, Frank Noland, who's Father Noland's father, put something on his resume this past weekend as he took a picture with a guy that streaked at the Super Bowl. Frank, we really appreciate you taking your time this morning to join the Morning Rush. I know you've got a number of interviews that you've been doing. Just kind of from the start, man.
What's the story?
Well, good morning, gentlemen. It was quite a bizarre and just random encounter. Sitting there at the bar, J. Alexander's restaurant in South Medell Mabry in Tampa, Florida, and I was on the way to fly back to Reno, so I was heading to the airport and just stopped in for a quick lunch. And we're sitting at the bar, and ESPN comes on, and they're talking about the streaker. And the bar top was full, and we were at a high top. This guy comes around from the left, and he's very intensely watching what's going on with the streaker story on SportsCenter. So we're sitting there, and the guy at the bar says, "I wonder what that idiot's doing today." And just out of the blue, this guy says, "Hey, that's me. I'm the streaker." And we're like, "Yeah, right. You're not the streaker." And the woman that's sitting at the bar, she says, "Show us your tats." So he pulls up his shirt. She says, "Take your shirt off." And he just rips his shirt off. His shirt off. It's the streaker. Wow. And so he's standing there, and everybody's taking pictures with him and talking to him. So I pulled him over to the side. I said, "All right, I've got to hear the story. Give me the scoop. What happened?" And so he goes into the story of what transpired. It was pretty bizarre. It was a brilliant plan and very well organized, and it was quite impressive what they pulled off, in my opinion.
So what we have heard is that what he told you? Is that true that he had put $50,000 up against the odds to make over $300,000? The friend went out as a diversion. Is what is being reported what you were told?
100%. 100%. And it wasn't, Yuri didn't put $50,000 himself. From what I understand, it was numerous bets, smaller bets. And, the number that he told me was that they averaged $750 to 1, or plus $750 rather. And so, $50,000 total plus $750. The math's pretty simple. And then you get into what made even more sense is that he said, cost him $1,000 in bail. Well, his bail money, from what I understand, was $500. His partner was $500, so there's your $1,000. Super Bowl tickets, $5,000 a piece. There's another $10,000 in expenses. So when you start adding it all up, they probably netted $330, $340.
Still a good day at the office.
Pre-tax, by the way.
Yeah.
Frank, I wonder, because Tommy made the point, well, you got to be naked to streak. Now, I know he showed a little bit of his butt during the whole shamble of what happened, but was there any pushback from when you were talking to him from what sports book did he bet, by the way? I don't know if he told.
I'm not going to disclose that.
Okay.
Because it's, I'm really not for sure exactly which ones, but I do know that it was numerous.
Okay.
And it wasn't just one $50,000 bet. I mean, everybody
spread it out.
Everyone's talking about how, obviously one sportsbook place would have seen that as unusual, highly unusual, and would not have accepted that bet. I agree with that. And they knew that. These are not dumb guys.
Yeah.
I'm not saying Yuri's a rocket scientist by any stretch of the imagination, but it was very well planned.
Well, he's the guy with 300-something thousand, and we're sitting here talking about it. So I mean,
hey, he had the courage, liquid or otherwise, to do what he did.
Yeah,
so
Frank,
that's one thing that he did share with me. He said, they've been drinking beer and hanging out, and they were, they were at the Super Bowl.
Yeah, but they had this plan.
Before it actually happened, he did slam 4 beers, so he said he was feeling no pain when he slid into the end zone.
That's fantastic. Now, did him and his partner split the money, Frank? How did they divvy that out from your conversations?
From what I was told, it was it's multiple people that were involved. So I don't think it was just he and one other person. Obviously, they had to get bailed out, and that's kind of hard to do when you're in there overnight. They had someone bail them out. They had a plan to get out of jail. So I mean, it was again, I think it was quite brilliant. They beat the system. If in the future, if they want to remove that bet and not have that prop bet, was kind of screwy prop bet anyway. But nonetheless, these guys shouldn't be punished for that. In my opinion, I think it was quite brilliant and very well planned.
Yeah. So were you at the Super Bowl, or were you just in Tampa for other reasons?
I was in Tampa. I'd already booked my trip down there early January, well before Tampa Bay. And I lived in Tampa with Peyton and Connor. Were there living with my wife and I in Tampa, so they grew up in Tampa. We lived there for about 7 years. And my youngest son, Brady, go figure, Brady, which Connor helped name Brady, but he was born in Tampa, so we have a lot of ties there. I had some business meetings to go to. Just I knew that if with the Super Bowl being in Tampa, that city was going to be electric.
So we got to ask you a baseball question because we're 9 days out from the start of the season. You got to be excited about the start of baseball season coming up.
Very much so. Coming out of the COVID year, all of these athletes across the country being sidelined from various sports, it's been a trying time for everyone. How it is. These kids, they want to compete. They want to get out there. They want to prove themselves, prove their stuff, and just get out and play ball.
Frank, I know that. Sorry. Go ahead. I apologize.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
I found it interesting. So you're based in Reno right now, all right?
Yes.
How long have you been there?
I've been in Reno for approximately 13 years.
Okay. So I don't know if you saw firsthand. Did you go watch a Nevada game with Muss at all? Did you have a pretty good idea?
Yeah, I was actually friends with Muss when he was here, and he actually called me on a Sunday night. He said, Frank, he said, I was supposed to be hired by Alabama in the morning. They were going to send the jet to pick me up, and I was going to be introduced. And he said, they, just picked another coach. I said, yeah. I said, I saw that. He goes, do you happen to know how to get a hold of the athletic director at Arkansas? I said, Coach, I said, I think I can figure that out for you.
Yeah. How about that?
So that's kind of how that started. And I asked him, I said, why is your agent? I said, you have the worst agent on the planet if he can't even get a hold of the athletic director at Arkansas. I was like, A.D. Yurchek's great guy, and he's very accessible. And Musselman's answer was, I don't know. He said, maybe I should hire you as my agent.
Yeah.
How about that?
What a great story that is. Two great stories this morning.
So Frank Noland, Connor Noland's dad, is the reason Eric Musselman is your basketball coach.
I'm not claiming that at all. I just happen to be in the right place at the right time on a couple occasions.
Well, Frank, we really appreciate your time this morning.
Story.
I know you got a lot of interviews to go, and just right place, right time, man. You were evidence of that this weekend.
Yeah. Hall of Fame
Timing's
picture.
everything, gentlemen. Timing's everything.
Right. We appreciate it, man. Can't wait to watch your son this baseball season. I'll be in the outfield. Don't trust me on that.
Not a problem. Have a great day. Thank you very much.
So Frank Noland, the guy that was in the picture with the streaker from the Super Bowl with the Arkansas ties right here on the morning. Oh, you're not getting that anywhere else.
Nope. It's a Morning Rush exclusive.